It's that card girl, and today we're going to be taking a look at Magic the Gathering's Lifegain 60 card themed deck. The front of the box has Zoraline Cosmos Collar featured on the front, and the side of it lets you know what all cards come inside, and the back gives you a little snippet as well, and the other side lets you know a bit about what standard is in Magic the Gathering. But let's go ahead and pull this purple pull tab off and get to looking at what comes inside this Orzhov deck. The first thing we have, of course, is a box inside of the box. A deck box, that is. On the front, it shows that this is a white-black deck and it's the Lifegain deck. And the back, of course, is featuring Zoraline once more. The first thing that I want to point out is that this cardboard deck box does have this little flap that comes off the front that helps to keep it closed whenever you're transporting it. But let's go ahead and get all of the goodies outside of the deck box so we can see what all we get. There was a cardboard insert to take up space inside of the box to keep everything from rattling around during transport, and then we have our divider card with, of course, Zoraline on it, and on the other side we have the purple and black theme. Then there is this folded up paper insert. On one side, it has art that is not Zoraline Cosmos Collar, but instead Amalia Benavides Aguiar. And the other side, of course, has Zoraline, a bit about Lifegain, and a welcome to Standard. But none of that is what we're really here for. We are here for this 60 card theme deck that they have wrapped up nicely in plastic wrap to keep it safe and secure until you're ready to play it. So let's get to talking about what all cards come inside of it, starting with 3 copies of Case of the Uneaten Feast, which gives you 1 life for every creature that enters the battlefield. And if you gain at least 5 life in 1 turn, it lets you solve and sack the case to give all creatures in your graveyard the ability to be cast from there until the end of your turn. Then there's 3 copies of Bat Cleric Essence Channeler, who has Flying and Vigilance if you've lost life that turn. It gains 1/1 counters when you gain a life, and when it dies, you get to put those counters on another creature of yours. Then we have 3 copies of the card with art on the back of the paper insert, Amalia Benavides Aguirre, a vampire scout who explores when you gain life. If she has exactly 20 power, then you get to destroy all other creatures, and it's got Ward with a 3 life cost. We get 2 copies of Halea Guided by Light. When this human soldier enters or another creature or artifact enters, you gain a life. And if you've gained at least 3 life at the start of your end step, you get to draw a card. And to top it off, you can warp it for 1 white. There's 3 copies of Bat Cleric Zoraline Cosmos Collar, who has Flying and Vigilance and gains you a life when a bat attacks that you control. And when this particular Bat Cleric attacks or enters, you can return a 3 mana or less non-land permanent to the battlefield with a finality counter on it if you pay either 2 life or 1 white and 1 black mana. Our last rare that was included in the deck is 2 copies of the Scryland Temple of Silence. Then we have 4 copies of one of my favorite 1-drops, the Rabbit Cleric Hinterland Sanctifier, who gets you a life when a creature you control enters the battlefield. Requiting Hex is an instant we get 2 copies of. You get to destroy a 2 mana or less creature with it, and if you choose to blight one, you also gain 2 life. Deep Cavern Bat has Flying and Lifelink. When you play one of the 4 copies you get of this bat, you get to look at an opponent's hand and exile a non-land card of theirs until Deep Cavern Bat leaves the battlefield. There's 2 copies of the flashable enchantment Nowhere to Run. You get to give an opponent's creature -3/-3 until the end of the turn this enchantment is played, and to live up to its name, the enchantment makes it to where an opponent's wards don't trigger and hexproof doesn't matter. Starscape Cleric is a bat cleric that'll be going into one of Hans's decks. We get 3 copies of this flyer that can't block but can be cast with an offspring. Both Starscape and its offspring make it to where each opponent loses a life when you gain a life. The 2 Silverquill charms we get are an instant that lets you either put 2 1/1 counters on a creature, exile a 2 power or less creature, or cause all opponents to lose 3 life and you gain 3 life. There's 3 copies of the instant Foolish Fate that lets you destroy a target creature, plus have the controller of that creature lose 3 life if you gained life during this turn. Our 2 copies of Fiendish Panda are our last creature cards. This bear demon gets a 1/1 counter when you gain life. When this panda dies, you get to put a non-bear that costs less mana than the bear's power out of the graveyard and onto the battlefield. There's a single mudflat village which can be sacked alongside paying a colorless and black mana to put a bat, lizard, rat, or squirrel into your hand from the graveyard. We get 4 copies of Scoured Barrens, which gives you a life when it enters. Then we get 9 plains, and 8 swamps. At the end, we get an assortment of tokens, but while I'm showing the rest of this off, I'm going to mention a few things. First off, how this deck is so much better at being 2 colors than the Angels was. And I know that whenever we were talking about the Angels deck, I didn't talk about quite a few of the cards and what they did, because they really didn't do much or really help out in the deck. But I felt the need to talk about what every card in this deck did because they all seemed to have a place in this deck and had something to contribute. And it's really convenient for Hans and I that it had white cards that I wanted and black cards that Hans wanted in it. But it seems pretty fun even how it is right out of the box. And speaking of boxes, we picked up the Gamegenic Soft Crate that holds over 100 double sleeve cards even if you're using Gamegenic's extra thick inner sleeves. And if you're just single sleeving these, it holds 120 single sleeved cards. Now, the box for Gamegenic products is always so cool. I love how it gives you all of the details and lets you know what all you're getting into with the product that's held inside. But let's go ahead and get the box opened up so we can take a look at this soft crate. I will also mention real quick that as a channel where 2 people with bad hands open cards, the Gamegenic products have been really easy for us to open up. Right on the top of this soft-sided crate though, you can see that it has a strip where you can write on it to let you know what you have inside of it, in case you're a bit forgetful like I am. This is the Fantastic Four Go Nuts design of this, and it is going to be the awesome home for my Squirrel Girl deck. Even if you do have to decapitate Squirrel Girl to open the box up. Now, as you can see when I'm opening this up, it has what they call Cobra Neck technology, which means that you can open it over 180 degrees without damaging the box. It has an awesome divider inside of it, and this super cool token box as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I love that between Fantastic Four and Squirrel Girl, they put Squirrel Girl on this token box. Now, it does have a self-locking mechanism on both the soft crate and the token box as well. That is going to be really great at keeping everything contained until you are ready to release it. I know that this isn't a big deal to everyone, but for the people that it makes a difference to, this is acid-free and has no PVC in it. I am super excited to use this soft crate to hold my Squirrel Girl standard deck and then to also house my Squirrel Girl commander deck whenever I get around to building it. Because this thing is a really low impact way to hold an entire commander deck along with all the life counters and dice you might need for it. Here's your reminder that we put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays with shorts on Sundays. We focus mainly on Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Lorcana, One Piece, and Gundam. Make sure you're following us over on Instagram if you haven't already at thatcardgirl.tcg. There's a link for it down in the description. And speaking of links in the description, there's a link to our Discord channel down there as well. Like, comment, subscribe, and tell your favorite cleric about us. That Card Girl out!